At what point then did you transition into, what was your first job, and how did you decide to go into the business side?
Well, when I originally came here to visit, and I was playing in really lame bands in LA, and I wanted to get away, and my intention was actually to go to New York and just see what was happening musically there. And I came to visit my dad, who had moved down a couple years before, and on a dare I joined a country band. So here's this kind of LA, punk, skate guy, and my hair was a lot shorter at that time. It was pretty spiky. And so I joined this quartet, and we played all over the country. We were playing Oak Ridge Boys covers and all the hits of that time, and a few originals. And they had a couple of charted songs on an independent label. But it was the most liberating thing that I had ever done, to get away from LA. Growing up there, it very much is true. The same cliche that people are nicer in the South, well, that's true. The same cliche about keeping up with the Jones is very true about Los Angeles. The car, the clothes, the whole thing. Getting away from that was the most liberating thing for me ever. And I said, you know what? I like Ronnie Milsap, and I like Van Halen, and I like the Sex Pistols, and I like Waylon Jennings. And I didn't care. And it was a real moment of independence for me to just really kind of focus on what was exciting to me.
And beyond genres, that you realize that country music can reach beyond.
Oh yeah.
Maybe what people think of as a country audience at times.
Well, absolutely. And when we were doing our year-end meetings this past December, I always want to come up with our vision for what we're going to do for the next year and get all of the team thinking really big. And we have a saying, it's start it crazy and work backward. And going back to some of the parallels were really important to me in my development as a musician and as executive, is if you look back, the Sex Pistols and Waylon and Willie were happening at about the same time. And it was the same, it was really the same inner power and energy wanting to change. We need a change. Sex Pistols said it crazy. Waylon said, we need a change. But when you look back, it was really the same, what I call, it's really the rock and roll heart. And that doesn't mean it's not country. It is. It's a rebel heart. It's we need to change. And going back and looking at that, that was so relatable to me. And really, we carry that through to our company today. And, we challenge change and accept change. And we have to be in that space because things are changing so fast.
Right. You mentioned your father. Talk about what, did you work with him at any point, or did you talk about what his...
Yeah. Anybody who can work with their father for a long period of time, God bless you. I love him, but I don't ever want to work with him. But I started off in the mailroom. I mentioned when I came here, I joined a country band. I stayed with that band for about 10 months. We played all over the country, and it was reverse culture shock. If you've been to LA, everything is perfect squares. Coming to the South was so amazing. I would tell my friends, I'm driving on this road called Old Hickory, and it turns into another road. And then there's another Old Hickory when you get off of I-40, and then you can take I-24 and you'll run into Old Hickory, and they're not connected. And so it was, again, really liberating and just had to figure out how to drive here. I've lost my place.
You're talking about your father.
Of course, yeah. He made me lose my place. No, I worked in the mailroom for him, and he was doing independent promotion at the time here, and it was very difficult to work with him because we're both very hard-headed. But I had the extraordinary opportunity to learn from him and watch not only what I felt he was doing right, but what I felt he was doing wrong. And as I mentioned, we're pretty selfish about what we do, and when you're an independent promotion person, which I have been, sometimes you have to take records that you don't necessarily believe in. You have to work artists that you don't necessarily believe in. And that's also the life of a promotion person all the way through. is sometimes you have to work something that isn't necessarily something that turns you on. So if you're a great promotion person or desire to be, you have to find something about that artist and that song that you can go and get people excited about. And that's something I learned very much from my dad.